Hello everyone, welcome to my political journalism news channel. The story for today is Finance Minister Anton Silyanov has said the government has issued instructions to pay the coupons in dollars, but added that if banks are unable to do that because of sanctions, the payment would be made in rubles. So Russia has the money to pay but says it can't because of the sanctions that have restricted banks and frozen much of its foreign currency reserves. My guess is, it could be a legal issue. Are these extraordinary circumstances, or were they brought on by the Russian government itself because the Russian government invaded Ukraine? Bondholders who have credit default swaps, derivatives that act like insurance policies against default, can ask a determinations committee of financial firm representatives to decide whether a failure to pay should trigger a payout, which still isn't a formal declaration of default. The U.S. government had to step in and get banks to bail out Long-Term Capital Management, a large U.S. hedge fund whose collapse, it was feared, could have threatened the stability of the wider financial and banking system. This time, however, it's hard to say ahead of time 100%, because every sovereign default is different and the global effects would only be seen once it has happened. Daniel Lenz, head of Euro rate strategy at DK Bank in Frankfurt, Germany, said. Impact outside Russia could be lessened because foreign investors and companies have reduced or avoided dealings there since an earlier round of sanctions imposed in 2014 by the US and the European Union in response to Russia's unrecognized annexation of Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula. IMF head Ms. Georgieva said while the war has devastating consequences in terms of human suffering, and has wide-ranging economic impact in terms of higher energy and food prices, a default by itself would be definitely not systemically relevant in terms of risks for banks around the world. In this case, Russian bonds are believed to come with clauses that permit a majority of creditors to agree to a settlement and then force that settlement on the minority, forestalling lawsuits. Again, it's unclear how that would work when many law firms are leery of dealing with Russia. Once a country defaults, it can be cut off from bond market borrowing until the default is sorted out and investors regain confidence in the government's ability and willingness to pay. Russia's government can still borrow rubles at home, where it mostly relies on Russian banks to buy its bonds. Russia is already suffering severe economic impact from the sanctions, which have sent the ruble plunging and disrupted trade and financial ties with the rest of the world. So the default would be one more symptom of Moscow's wider political and financial isolation as a result of its invasion of Ukraine. That is all for today news. Thank you for watching to my channel. Please be sure to leave your comment and subscribe below for more news update.